Hey everybody. Is anybody else addicted to ball pit? Just me? I've been having a bunch of fun with this game. This video is mainly to show off my base, which I don't think is perfect, but I do think is worth making a video on. Is it the best base of all time? Certainly not. I'll end the suspense. Let's scroll up. Here it is in all its beauty. I think there's some interesting stuff going on with my base. So I'm pretty far into the game. I beat it. I completed standard mode with every playable character, and then I'm pretty far into New Game Plus. So all of these buildings you'll see are like these are the infinitely upgradable ones, and they're all kind of between 15 or well 14 and 17. So I've seen some videos on YouTube of people showing off their base builds and trying to optimize for resource efficiency and also utilizing the different character buildings and their abilities. And so that's kind of what I tried to do. I tried to optimize for just kind of like mainly that, like utilizing the characters' buildings for like just like the resource kind of benefits they can provide, and also the Iron Fortress for the build points, which I think becomes very important in the end game because of all of these infinitely upgradable buildings, and also the monastery for adding to your for your harvest clock. So I wanted to create a path where my workers are gonna, first of all, of course, I have my my tunnel of gold mines, which I'm sure you guys have seen before if you've looked up any other base build videos. But I did. Here's the thing I found with a lot of the other base, I don't know if you call them guides, people just showing off their builds more or less. With the character buildings, they couldn't seem to kind of get everything. Like the ones that kind of like had like resource benefits, they always sort of compromised on something. And I tried to compromise on nothing. It's not perfect, but I do think that I did a pretty good job. I'm going to I'll send my guys off here in a hot minute, but I just don't want to talk about things. So here is like kind of obviously like the heart of I feel like a lot of bases is a veterans hut, and this is residents of nearby houses gain 30% bonus experience. Every other character's house is within range, so they're all the other 15 or whatever it is are right here, and you'll notice nothing else is showing up green because there's no other characters buildings. So, and the unlockable characters buildings do have a lot of interesting unique benefits. Excuse me, benefits. So, and I really wanted to try to get the most I could out of all of them, even though it's a case could probably be made that these are like not even worth it to bother. It's just probably more. It's probably better to just build a more efficient farm. But I think my farm's pretty good. We'll get to it because I want to go in order. So I started with this. I cleared out a lot of space, and I kind of dropped this guy in the middle of nowhere. So over here we have it's the not oh it is it's the campground and the cozy home. The other two are just here because they have to be. So what I did is I dropped this, and then I kind of took these ones. This one here is forests regrow 45% faster, and you'll see he has like this area of influence, and the green is of course the forests. And then this one is for the cohabitants, harvest from adjacent forests every 9 minutes, and you'll see how the forest is around all of that. So I brought this out to the corner of this in this direction so that I could kind of get this as filled with grass or with forest as possible. And then I basically did the same thing over here with the single family home. This is the same idea, but for wheat. So you'll see here, this one harvests from adjacent wheat fields every 6 minutes, and this one increases the growth rate by 45%. And this one worked out well because it got pretty much all of them together. You got to kind of like make some sacrifices just with, when you're placing them. It doesn't get like a perfect overlap, but I did do the best I could. And like I said, like I got, I think, as close as you can actually get. And then of course I did the same thing over here with the theater. Harvest from adjacent boulders every 10 minutes, and this nearby boulders regrow 45% faster. This one's not quite as good as these two, but it's still pretty good, right? And I prioritized the harvesting over the the regrowth, because um, I that probably doesn't need explaining. That the logic behind that, I'm sure, speaks for itself. So I tried to get them as separated as I could, and um, so that they could sort of fully utilize their area of influence without having overlap with each other. And then when I did that, I kind of got this guy also in his own corner, because I knew that the Iron Fortress was going to need kind of a good deal of space. So, yeah, and I wanted to get this guy down here as well, to increase the harvest time. And I wanted to get this kind of obviously within the path of the workers, this as well, so they're going to bounce into these and get the benefits. At the haunted house, however, I also wanted to get in here, which I did do a pretty good job of. And the way that this works is that the first 4 workers that bounce on this building gain 35% movement speed, which I'm sure is a good thing. Again, maybe some of these things just aren't that great in the long run. I will say that I think that this is, and this is, and it's just cool to try to make sure that every one of these abilities gets utilized. So, oh, right. So this guy, so the mansion as well. For each nearby building, passively gain $1 every time. So that's why kind of basically all these buildings are up here. As you can see, first of all, he comes into contact with a lot of these ones down here. Doesn't quite make it to these guys, but he gets these guys. And then so I wanted to cram as many as I could in up here. And I think, again, I basically did that. I don't know if you've seen it. You'll see it. It's like 36 or something every minute. This will proc, and you'll see it. But I again took a little bit of time, and all of the bigger buildings I placed kind of on the outside, where just like one tile from the bigger building is. So you see this guy's out, right? Pull him out one. This guy's out. So one tile of the bigger buildings are touching, and I tried to, it took some Tetrising, of course, but again, I think I got it in there. And these guys also contribute. These trophies count as one whole building, and I have, so once I got everything, all the bigger buildings on the outside, I crammed it in with every single smaller building that I could and that I had. And then once I got that all kind of worked in there as good as I could, I filled every empty space with a trophy. So that's it. Okay, let's get on to the Iron Fortress. I really like that. Also, just the aesthetics. Like when you get these guys fully like utilized, it looks kind of neat. I thought, like, there's own little like farms just kind of like in the neighborhood, and then there's a separate other farm over here. But okay, so looking at the Iron Fortress in the middle, obviously I'm gonna launch my workers from here. They're gonna shoot up, bounce around, then they're gonna come up. They're gonna bounce around here. All of the endgame infinitely upgradable buildings are also right here, and I can upgrade a few of them. Oh, just the one right now, the wagon factory. So I'm gonna upgrade it. So if you left click, you can dismantle it. We're gonna go to no. I've accidentally tried to upgrade, and if you right click, it's dismantle. If you left click, it's upgrade. I've accidentally gone to dismantle. This was like a level 14, and I had to rebuild it from scratch because I accidentally dismantled it. Anyway, so we're gonna upgrade this. It's gonna cost 1050 every level for these guys. Once they reach level 9 or 10 or something, is 1050 build points or whatever you call them. So that's kind of nice. The cost of resources continually goes up, but the build points doesn't. So with a fresh harvest, with a full farm, I should get my 1050. It's not a guarantee. That is one thing about this setup. There is probably room for like more consistency and more optimization. I've actually been like very slowly like taking, I'll start here. I've been very slowly, kind of like every couple of days, I'll grab my whole base and move it over 1 or 2 to expand my farm. And I'm sure I could stand to do that more. And I may. I'm trying to get back to normal view here. However, I'm not going to do that right now. However, a case could also probably be made for maybe like bringing this guy out and like just adding a whole extra farm, you know, kind of get these things a little just tucked in just a little more. They're pretty tight against this wall right now, but get the stuff maximally tucked in. Maybe just jam them all in the corner or whatever, and then just add more crops and more forest and more granite and more stone. And then maybe I could have an opening up here for them to farm, and an opening. They come down here a lot. I do play around with this setup. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to harvest. It should, and yeah. So yeah, I've spoken enough. What's going on here? Okay, that was weird. Harvest. There we go. Yeah, let's see this in action. This tends to be pretty reliable. If I just come right out to the edge here and launch. I won't speed it up. I'll just let you guys watch it go. So they get stuck here a little, but then they pop out, and now they're bouncing on this guy. This is actually, they usually don't get stuck down here this much. Okay, so they're adding to the clock. This is what I mean with it being slightly inconsistent. We did complete the building quickly because of that, and we still, oh look, we're up to 24 seconds. Okay, this is actually a really good one. All right, look at them go. They don't always get everything. There's usually a little bit of forest left, but so this is pretty cleared out. It does tend to work out pretty well that this clears out pretty much by the time it's done, but not always. So we're gonna see here. So 2,500 gold, 1,200 wheat, and then 580 respectively for these two. So those numbers could be better. I saw, guys, I'm gonna link the video. I saw a video the other day. It was auto overdubbed into English from some Asian language, Chinese or Japanese or something, I think. And the overdubs aren't great. There is some silly stuff in there, but it's easy enough to follow if you're familiar with the game. You kind of, because he's just showing you what he's doing. But he has his whole, every single tile is covered with something. And he was doing a crazy trick with this well. And you can see that it's like hexagonal instead of like, so the way workers bounce off it is they come off at different angles, but there's also like a little gap. He was showing he could like launch it. You can like, if you harvest from here while this well is down here, you can kind of come in at an angle, and they'll launch, your guys will launch right out. I tried it one time and it didn't work for me, but he was showing it and he launched it and they built up a bunch of momentum, and eventually they kind of achieve escape velocity, and now they're like going super fast, so they blast out and then they kind of blast everywhere. I'm gonna try it. Like I said, it didn't work for me at all. So let's see. But I'll link the video because here, let's speed it up. Come on, escape. It's okay. So that didn't work. So anyway, but his resource collection was like 2,000 plus for both of these, and like close to 2,000 for wooden ore. So I'm not at those numbers, but I'm still really happy. So now that we just harvested recently, I can't upgrade anything else, but you'll see here, we'll launch another one, and you'll see that it's kind of a little different every time. Even if I pick like roughly the same starting spot, look, see how much quicker they came out that time? Which actually works out in a way because, you know, we don't really need, well, I'd like to see them go back into the gold mine. There we go. But this is cool, right? He's still, so again, it doesn't always exhaust everything. And some are better than others. There's probably still, yeah, there's still mines points left. There's probably, this got completely exhausted. This one went pretty good too, though. Oh yeah, no, I'm satisfied with this. But you'll see last time this was like 2,500 or whatever, and this was, well, I mean, these were more because our resources were full and now our farm's pretty depleted. But the mines, we could have gotten as much, but we didn't get down there. But it kind of makes sense because this was more cleared out, so they just came out here quicker. And anyway, I mean, that's basically it. Again, I really like how these things kind of have a lot of resources around them. Like I said, I saw a lot of other videos where people were just either neglecting this stuff or they couldn't really quite fit it into their builds. And that's why they were like, I tried, I couldn't really do it. So I was watching these and I had a crap base at the time and I was like, I had an idea in my head that I thought it could be done. And this did come together pretty well. when I got Kraken. So I did want to show it off. I've had this base for a few days now, and I don't think I'll change it. Like I said, um, once in a while, sometimes I'll have this like this, so it creates another gap, and then I'll do a harvest. I pull it all the way back. How did I have this set up before? Something like this. Yeah, I had it pretty much right here. And then I'd launch, and then this way you get them kind of... You well, usually some of them go up here as well. It looks like none of them are going to this time. And, well, he's working his way in. But this is going to be a much shorter, much less efficient harvest. It wasn't really too bad for gold. But if we try that again, this is what I mean with the inconsistency. Maybe if I kind of come back a little further. Well, just slight alterations with, wow, look at that one was terrible. Slight alterations with the, with where I come in here can really affect things. Let's try this. There, they made it through. Usually what happens is, yeah, they kind of splinter, and you got some going one way and some going another. So, anyway, I'm sure you guys get the idea. I really like it. I might make some improvements. I've been actually really tempted to pull this out a little more, or just turn this side into a farm as well. There is a couple things. You'll see that the farm ends up here. And this building itself, there's like a gap here. So there is one extra tile of space. However, this roadkeeper building kind of pokes out. And because of that, no workers can get through here, which at the moment is a good thing because my whole farm is confined to this area. But if I do break this out and expand, I'm sure it would be interesting to have a little gap. That would be my only like downside, is if you really wanted to go hard on like having like a full whatever you would call this, a full farm throughout your whole sort of usable area, you would probably want a slightly bigger gap up here to allow your workers to come through. I think if you have something that open, it's having a few different paths would probably be ideal. However, because I have this spread out so far, like there's only 5, like I don't often have room for all of my mines. In fact, one of them's over here. I don't know if you guys noticed. Once in a while, if I'm just going for gold, I might as well show you. I'll bring this in. I got a hole. I'll bring this down. I'll give this guy a rotate. So now these guys are all boxed in, and this gets us at pretty close to 3 grand. It's usually like 2,800 or just shy. But yeah, like I said, there's just a couple like minor variations that I do there, and then I flip it all back around. If I forget, it's bad because this pulls the iron throne away from these. So I've left this up here at times, and like then I missed out on getting my my additional build points. So yeah. So if I do expand, probably would be good to just get this road keeper out and fill it with, you know, something a little smaller, and like I was saying, just one tile's worth of space it's on the low side. It'd be nice to have a little more, but just because of the way I have things built, I don't like the idea of changing it that much, honestly. So it's staying for now. Oh, and also the captain's quarters, I should mention. This is the tactician's house, and the nearby stat bonus buildings provide an additional 1% bonus. And I did, of course, get all 10 of them in here. And you, of course, have like your initial ones, which you can level them all up to get +5 bonuses on your base stats: leadership, strength, dexterity, endurance, and speed. And then, of course, it is also within range of the infinitely upgradable. Hey, am I missing? Wait a second. Oh, I brought this guy out. My schoolhouse isn't touching. Look at that. I'm going to fix that right now. Which can be done. This is how we do that. That's too funny. I can't believe I didn't notice. I made that change recently because I had the Exorcist building, which is a 2x3 in here. And I was like, wait a second. I can put in one of these 2x2s and 2 more trophies. And I did. Okay, so now I have all 12 of the buildings that the captain's quarters impacts, which again, I think I really like how this worked out, because when I do upgrade these, this one's kind of an exception where workers don't really bounce into it too much, but most of these, like if I was to upgrade the Warriors Guild, it's gonna be bouncing into the Iron Throne, and it's gonna be hitting the Warriors Guild as well. So it's kind of getting build points across the board. Okay, so guys, I think I've gone on at length about this enough. This is a 20-minute video. I would love to know your guys' thoughts. I want to know what you think, but I also want to know if what you guys think I could do to improve, because I'm sure I could. So yeah, sound off in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day. Bye bye.